by this var keyword, and into this var keyword now I want to take one of the variable name, whatever the name actually you choose. Right now I name it as a name. Okay, that means that is our var keyword and that is our variable name. Okay, so declare this variable with this var, and that is our variable name. So now into this variable area I want to pass one of the value. Okay, like here I want to, with the single quote, here I want to pass one of the value as a Aryan. And then here if you want to use that semicolon, you can use it. Rather than if you don't want to use it, it's totally fine. So right now I use it as a semicolon, and that is actually our value. That means that is declare our this variable with the var, and then that is one of the keyword, and that is our variable name is equal to, and that is our variable value. Okay, friend. And now if you want to display it, I want to display it with our console log function, which I have already discussed about that things with you. That is a console and then the log, right? That is a console log function. So into this function area here, I want to pass our this variable name. So I have already created that variable name as a name. So now that will be as a name. And now if you click as a save all, and now if you go again our console log, now refresh it. Yes, you can see now it's successfully display our variable value as a Aryan. I hope friend it's very much clear to you how to declare one of the variable value. So now there is a simple process you have to done. And now for this variable, naming conversion, there have some of the rules. So now I want to discuss about all that rules that you have to follow. Like first of all, variable name should be meaningful. Like here, if you want to write down as a var x, var y, var z, so that will be not appropriate. You have to put some of the meaningful name, like as a var name as a Aryan. That is Aryan is the value, var is the declaring our keyword, and name is variable, right? So you have to put some of the meaningful name as a like var name, var age, or var gender. And then also don't use any reserved keyword. Like they have some of the reserved keyword in JavaScript, you cannot use this as a variable name. Like as a var, so var is one of the keyword. If you want to use that reserved keyword, you cannot able to use it. So then that will be display some of the error. That is a var, you cannot use that var, you cannot use that if or else. Okay, so that is some of the restriction. You cannot use any reserved keywords. And after that, cannot start with numbers. You cannot start the variable with the number. Like as a var one name, var one age, var one gender as a male, you cannot use this type of any variable name. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. You cannot start the variable name with the number. And then cannot contain a space or hyphen. That is very much important. Like you cannot put any content of space in your variable area or any hyphen. Like for example, if you write down as a var, so that is our keyword, and then our variable name, if you want to use it as a current user age, you cannot put any type of spaces in your variable name area. And also you cannot use any hyphen in your variable area. Like here for example, I'm actually using that current hyphen user and then hyphen age. So this type of variable you cannot declare. Then how you can do this work? For doing this, you can use that camel case, the Pascal case, and the snake case. So for this course, maximum time you will use that camel case. Camel case, you can see that is a current user age. So you can use that current as a small letter, U is our capital letter, and A is the capital letter. That means first keyword will be as a small letter. So that will be the camel case. That means that will be started from to the small letter, and then the Pascal case. Pascal case is actually, it's all that our main keyword will be started with the capital letter. Like here, I name it as a current, as a C is capital, U is capital, A is capital. And also another one is the snake case. So into the snake case, I am using that current underline user underline age. So that is the simple rule you have to follow. As I told you, for our this course, maximum time we'll use our variable name with the camel course. We will not use that var. Always we will use that let and the constant. Now I want to show you with the live example. Right now I want to remove it. Now I want to declare another variable with the let keyword. So that is a let. Okay, and let, and I just put one of the variable name as a price. I name it as a price, and price I make it as a 250. Okay, so that will be one of the our value. That means that is our keyword, that is our variable name as a price, and here I just put one of the value as a 250. And also I want to declare another variable with the constant. Okay, constant. So that is a constant. So with this constant variable, I name it as a name, and I just put one of the name as again Aryan. That is a value as Aryan. Okay. So right now, if you want to print it, I want to print it with the console log. So there is a console and then the log, right? So there is a console log. With this console log function, now I want to declare our both of this variable. Like one is the price variable, I simply paste it and then comma, and then another constant variable, I name it as a name. Okay, so I simply add both of this in here. And now if you click as a save all, and now I want to print it. Now click as a refresh. Now you can see it's now passing as a 250, and also it's passed that name as a Aryan. Now I want to discuss about what is the difference between that late and then our constant. So what exactly the difference between both of these? Like when you use that late, when you use that with the late keyword, that is our variable name, when you use it, then you can actually update this variable value. But into the constant, you cannot change it. I show you, like here, I take another one. I take that same name as a price, and I want to update it as a 300. Okay, I make it as a 300. And now if you click as a save all, and now if you go, better I want to make it little bit here, then that will be better. I want to print it in here. Okay. So here I want to display it. So now if you click as a refresh, now you can see our value is updated as a 300. Okay, but here if there is a constant value name, it's constant value, I name one of the variable as a Aryan. So here if you want to change it, like here I name it as a name, and name it, I just want to change it as a Udemy. And now if you want to check it, like here I want to check it again, click as a save all. Now that should be display one of the error. Now click as a refresh. Now you can see it's now showing as a uncatch type error as a assignment to the constant variable at this position. Okay, you can see it's not, as I told you, when you use that late, you can update that variable value, but when you make it as a constant variable, then you are not able to change any data. I hope friend you can well understand about it. So that is the major difference between the late and the constant. So into the late you can reassign your value, but into the constant you cannot reassign your value. That is the main difference between late and the constant. See the type. Okay, that means the data type. Like I show you, like I put one of the late with the name, okay, late name, and I just name one of the value. I put one of the value as again Aryan. So that will be one of the value. Right, and also I want to take another one as a late, I name it as age. Okay, so this age I want to make it as a 45. Okay, that is our another type. Great. So now if you want to display both of these, like here if you put your cursor, you can see it's now showing as a this late name as a string type. That means that is one of the string type value. And also into the age area, I pass another value, right? If you put your cursor, you can see now that is displayed as a number type value. I hope friend you understand. If you put your cursor, you can see it's also displayed as a string value, and that is a number value. You can also, if you want to display it with the console log function, you can also display it. I show you, like there is a console and then log, console log, and then here you have to pass that as a type of. So I make it as a type, okay, type of. So with this type of, I want to pass out this variable name as a name. I simply pass it. Now that should be display what type of data is it. If you click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's now display as a string type. Right, that means this data type value as a string. And also if you want to display the same things in here, like I just put that as a age, I make it as a age, and then with the data that is the type of, it should be display our this type. Click as a save all, and now if you click as a refresh, now you can see it's now display that is one of the number type value. So that is our string type value, and that is our number type value. So it's now perfectly display in here. So in our late variable here, I make it with a single quote. If you want to use that as a double quote, you can also able to use it. Better I want to show you, like I make it as a double quote. Okay, so with this double quote, you can use it. Now click as a save all. Our result will be just like that same. You can see that is one of the string value, and also you can use that as a backtick. Like here, if you make it, you can see there is a backtick. With this backtick, you can also use that value. That means you can display this value. Click as a save all. Now refresh it. Now you see the result is the same as the string value. Okay, you can use that single quote, you can use that double quote, you can also use that as a backtick. Okay, so now that is a backtick is supported. So right now I'm going to make it better as a single quote right now. There is a single quote. Now click as a save all and refresh it. The same. Great. And also there is another data type as a Boolean data type, because some of the time you may use that as a is married, that means this man is married or not, this man is live or not. Okay, so this type of one of the Boolean type that like is a true or false. So that is also another type I show you. Like I take one of the another variable, I just name it as a is married. Okay, married, is married. So with this is married, I want to make it as a true. You can use that as a true, you can use that as a false. Okay, that is a false, so I just simply add that as a false. And now if you want to show it with the console log, I want to pass our this type. Okay, that is a type, type of our variable name. Our variable name as is married. So now I want to display which type of value type it is. Now if you click as a save all, now refresh, now you can see now it's display as a Boolean type. That means this data type as a Boolean. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. And into the Boolean, that will be only supported as a false rather than it will be supported as a true. Okay, you have to understand. So friend, that is all that main core things. Just understand all that core things. Literally everything will be needed. Okay, because we'll develop multiple projects, so everything will be needed. Okay friend, make that sure you understand and remember all that things. That is all that our types. So that is a string type, that is a number type, and that is our Boolean type. And also there is another type as an undefined type. Like here I show you, like I just put on the variable name as a colors. Okay, colors. So into this colors area, I don't want to pass any value. Okay, I just simply loaded one of the variable, and into this variable I didn't pass any value, right? So now if you want to check it with the console, into the console log, okay, into the console log, I want to pass out this variable. Our variable name, I name it as a colors. Okay, so now I simply pass it, and now if you click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, now click as a refresh, now you can see it's now display as an undefined type. So that is one of the undefined type. Okay, so when you don't want to pass any value in your variable area, then that will be one of the undefined type. And also you can, if you want to check that type of, you can also check it. Like here I name as undefined. Okay, undefined, this type of the name. And here I want to pass our this data, that is a type of, then that will be display our type of. Click as a save all, and now refresh it. Now you can see it's now display as a undefined. And also there is another type as a null type. Okay, like null type is very important because that will be needed lots of time. Like I name as a select color. Okay, select color. So this type of one of the variable I simply declared with the let, and then I want to pass one of the value as a red. So red means, like here if you want to make one of the user to select any color, like there is a red color, like that should be as a blue color, red color. Okay, so you want to do user should be selected one of the color, so that is the color. So for the first time that will be as a null, right? So when you make it as a null, that means they have one of the value, that value will be selected by the user. So for the first time that will be as a null. Okay, that is a null type. That means here you want to pass one of the value later. Okay, so that will be one of the null type. Like for the first time that will be as a null, and when this user will be selected here, like when this user will be selected as a red, then red value will be inserted in here. Okay, when this user will be selected as a blue, then blue will be selected in here. So for the first time that will be as a null. So that is the null type. If you want to check it, you can also check it. Like I make it as a console. Okay, console, and then log, console log. I want to use that as a type. Okay, type of our variable name. I name it as a select color. Okay, so that is our variable name. If you now click as a save all, now that should be a display on the null type. Click as a refresh. Now you can see now that is actually display as an object. So our type is the null type, but here actually is passing as an object one of the type, right? So what exactly that object? So better in our next video, I'm going to discuss about more about that part. So friend, as I told you, I have designed this course like that way. Every just core functionality, first of all, you have to capture. Literally everything will use it in our real project. We'll develop multiple projects. I hope everything JavaScript will be very much clear to you. I hope you all discuss about that object. So what exactly mean this object? I show you with the live example, then that will be very clear. Like I remove it, okay? I just simply take with the late, where I want to take some of the variable with the late name. I make another variable as age, that is our number type. I hope you already know about it, and I just put it as a 40. Okay, I put it as a 40, and also I take another one as a hobby. I make it as a reading. Okay, that will be as a single quote, and then the reading, I make it as a reading. So that is all that our value. So here, if you want to focus it, what exactly all variable contain? So that is actually declared one of the user details, right? So here right now I want to do, I don't want to display one by one. I want to make it by this object. So with this object, we can actually combine everything in one line. I show you, like here you can actually display it in different way. Like I take that late, I take one of the variable as a user, and then with one of the curly bracket, into the curly bracket, so that is it should be created one of the objects. So all that our object now I want to do, I want to pass it in here by the property. Like here I want to do, first of all, I declare one of the property name. Okay, I name it as a name, and name here I want to pass that our value. I name it, like I just want to do and to add the same things. I want to pass that our value as a Aryan. So that is our first property, and then the comma, and I want to take another property. I name it as a age. Okay, so that is our age property name, and into this age area I want to make it as a 40. So that is a 40, and then the comma, and after that hobby. Okay, that is a hobby, and this for the hobby here, that is our property name as a hobby, and then here I pass on the value as a reading. Okay, so that is our value. So here I take everything in our this variable as a user variable. Okay, you can see I use that semicolon, that will be obviously as a comma. Okay, make that sure is comma. So that is our object. So now this total object value that I want to do and to display. So if you want to display it, like here I name it as a console. Okay, console, and then console log, and into this console log area I want to pass our this variable name as a user. I simply pass it. So now if you save it, I click as a save all, or rather than you can also press it as the Control S. So automatically now that is saved. And now if you want to print it, like click as a refresh. So it's now showing as invalid short length property initialize. Okay, here you have to use that as a semicolon. Now click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, uncatch invalid shortened property initializer. You can see I use that is equal to, that will be obviously this one. So now here I simply updated it. So now that is a property, and then that is a reading, right? Now if you click as a save all, and now I want to refresh it. Yes, now you can see it's now perfectly display our total object data of this user. So now that is a name as a Aryan, age as a 40, and then hobby also as a reading. If you click it, now you can see it's now showing as a age as a 40, hobby as a reading, and name also is display as a Aryan. And you can see that is our prototype, and prototype, that is our object prototype. Okay, so that is our total object prototype is now successfully visible. So friend, I hope you can well understand about it, how can declare the object property. So now all that our object property is visible. So here if you want to display like as a specific sum of the property, like here I am actually display all that property, right? So now if you want to display a specific sum of the property, how can do that work? I show you. Like first of all, I want to display this property name, only a specific this name property name. Okay, if you want to display it, then you have to write down as a console, and then the log, and after that, that is our user, right? And after that user, if you want to display this property name, they have the two different way you can use it. So that is a two different notation. Okay, that's called that notation. So there is a one notation is the dot notation. With this dot notation, you can display it. You can also display it with the bracket notation. Like first of all, I want to display with the dot notation. I want to display this name. I copy it, so that is our dot, and then our name. You can see it's when you click as a dot, then automatically it will be suggested our all that property name as age property, hobby property, name property. So now I want to display our name property. So if you want to now display it here, if you click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's now display our this property value name as a Aryan. Okay, so that is our number 14, index.js number 14, and needs now display our value as Aryan. If you want to display the hobby, you can also display it. There is a console and then the log, and into the console log, then the user, and then our notation. I want to use it as a now dot, and with this dot that will be as a hobby. Okay, that means this specific this object property I want to display, that is our hobby. Now if you click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's now display as a reading. So now I want to discuss about how can display this property with the bracket notation. So for doing this, that will be very easy. I simply want to do and to make it as a console, and then the log, and then the same user. So before I use that as a dot notation, and now also there is another one as a bracket notation, right? So into the bracket here you have to do into the user area. After that you have to pass, and then the square bracket. Into the square bracket in our single code, I want to display the property name. Okay, so now you can see I just simply loaded this this property name, and now that should be displayed. Click as a save all, and now refresh it. Now you can see it's now successfully displayed that Aryan. Okay, now it's successfully displayed. And also if you want to display the age, you can display the same things like that way. That is the console log, and then our user. So I use that as a user variable, and into this user variable area, after that there is square bracket. Into the square bracket single quote, I want to display now as a age property. Okay, I simply loaded that age property. Now click as a save all. Now that should be display our age value. Yeah, that is a 40. You can see age is 40. Now 40 is visible. I hope friend you will understand about it, how can display all that object data, and also how can display a specific one of the property object data, right?